The billionaire in the subway rain hammered the streets of New York City like falling glass. People rushed through the subway station with their heads down, avoiding eye contact, protecting their expensive coats and busy lives. But one man sat quietly on a worn-out bench. No bodyguards, no designer suit, no luxury watch, just jeans, old boots and a tired black jacket. A homeless man nearby shivered violently, clutching a thin blanket. Most people walked past him, but the quiet man stood up, removed his own coat, and wrapped it around the stranger's shoulders. "You need this more than me," he said softly. The homeless man looked up in disbelief, and then another passenger gasped. "Wait, are you Keanu Reeves?" The station suddenly froze. Phones appeared, whispers spread. Yes, it was Keanu Reeves, one of the richest and most famous actors in Hollywood. But instead of escaping the crowd, Keanu simply smiled awkwardly and sat back down beside the homeless man. What nobody in that station understood was this. Keanu wasn't pretending to be humble. This was who he truly was. Because years before fame, before millions, before movie premieres and flashing cameras, he knew pain better than success. He remembered sleeping in cheap apartments. He remembered rejection. He remembered loneliness. And most painfully, he remembered loss. As the subway train screamed into the station, Keanu stared into the dark tunnel. The sound reminded him of another night, another train, another tragedy, a memory he had spent years trying to forget. And for the first time in a long while, the past came rushing back. The tragedy that broke him years earlier. Before becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Keanu Reeves believed life was finally becoming perfect. His career was exploding. Directors wanted him, fans loved him, and most importantly, he had fallen deeply in love. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to dream about a peaceful future, a family, a home, a normal life away from cameras. Then one phone call destroyed everything. Late one winter night, Keanu received devastating news. A terrible accident had taken away someone he loved dearly. The grief hit him like a storm. For months, he disappeared from the public eye. Friends worried about him. Hollywood expected him to become bitter, angry, or lost. But pain changed him differently. Instead of becoming cold, Keanu became more compassionate. He began noticing people society ignored. Workers, cleaning movie sets late at night, security, guards standing in freezing weather, homeless, people sleeping outside restaurants where celebrities spent thousands of dollars. One evening, after filming wrapped, Keanu quietly walked into a small diner. He noticed a waitress struggling to smile while serving customers. Her hands trembled from exhaustion. Before leaving, he handed her a generous tip and thanked her for her hard work. The waitress burst into tears. "You have no idea how much this helps me," she whispered. Keanu simply nodded, because he understood something many rich people never learned. Money could not erase pain, but kindness could ease it. Slowly, stories about him began spreading across the world. People said he secretly donated millions, others claimed he helped struggling crew members pay medical bills. Some thought the stories were fake, but those who worked beside him knew the truth. Keanu never cared about headlines. He cared about people. Yet behind his calm smile, another battle was beginning. Hollywood executives had started pressuring him to change, to become more flashy, more arrogant, more marketable. And soon, Keanu would face a choice that could destroy his career forever. The decision that shocked Hollywood. The meeting room was silent. Studio executives sat around a giant glass table, staring at Keanu Reeves with frustration. One producer leaned forward. "You're one of the biggest stars in the world," he said. "Start acting like it." They wanted luxury interviews, expensive publicity stunts, more drama, more headlines. But Keanu hated pretending. While other celebrities arrived in sports cars, he often rode motorcycles or public transportation. While others demanded special treatment, he ate lunch with film crews. And worst of all, according to the executives, he kept giving away huge amounts of his money. One producer finally snapped, "You're losing millions doing this." Keanu calmly replied, I already have enough. The room fell silent. Nobody in Hollywood talked like that. For many people in the industry, success meant power, attention, and endless wealth. But Keanu saw success differently. To him, success meant freedom. Freedom to help others. Freedom to stay humble. Freedom to remain human. Then came the biggest moment of all. Blockbuster film was preparing for production. The studio wanted a famous actor for another major role, but they claimed the budget was too expensive. Keanu shocked everyone. He voluntarily gave up part of his own salary so the other actor and crew members could be hired. Hollywood couldn't believe it. Who gives away millions willingly? News of his actions spread quietly through the industry. Crew workers admired him. Young actors looked up to him. Fans respected him even more. But fame creates enemies as quickly as admiration. Soon, online rumors began attacking his reputation. Some accused him of pretending to be generous for publicity. Others claimed his kindness was just an act. Keanu ignored the criticism publicly. But privately, the accusations hurt more than anyone realized. One night, sitting alone in his apartment, he stared at thousands of hateful comments online. Then his phone rang. A stranger's voice on the other side changed everything. "Mr. Reeves, you saved my life." The stranger's call, the voice trembled with emotion. "Mr. Reeves, you don't know me." Keanu Reeves sat quietly, confused. The caller explained that years earlier, Keanu had donated money to a hospital without telling anyone publicly. That funding helped create treatment programs for struggling families. One of those families was theirs. "My little sister survived because of that program," the caller said, crying. "You gave us more time with her." Keanu closed his eyes. For a moment he couldn't speak, not because he wanted praise, but because this was exactly why he helped people in the first place. Not for cameras, not for awards, but because every person carries invisible pain. After hanging up, Keanu walked outside into the cold night air. The city lights blurred around him. For years, grief had followed him like a shadow, but maybe pain didn't only destroy people, maybe it could also transform them. The next morning, he arrived at a movie set before sunrise. Instead of sitting in his private trailer, he helped crew workers move heavy equipment. One young worker stared at him in disbelief. "You really don't think you're above anyone, do you?" Keanu smiled gently. "We all matter," he replied. That sentence spread across the internet within days. Millions shared it, not because it sounded dramatic, but because people were starving for kindness in a world obsessed with status. Still, Keanu's quiet life was about to become chaotic again. A journalist had been secretly investigating his private donations, personal struggles, and hidden acts of generosity. And soon, the entire world would learn the truth. The man the world finally understood. Cameras flashed like lightning outside the theater. Reporters shouted questions. Fans filled the streets. But this time, the headlines were different. Not about scandals, not about luxury, not about fame. Instead, newspapers revealed story after story about Keanu Reeves quietly helping strangers for years, donating millions, anonymously, supporting hospitals, helping movie crew members, sitting with homeless people, giving away seats on crowded trains, paying for families in need. The world was stunned. In an industry often obsessed with image, Keanu had spent decades proving something powerful. A person can become successful without losing their humanity. During an interview, a reporter finally asked him the question everyone wanted answered. "Why do you give away so much money?" Keanu paused thoughtfully, then he said softly, "Because life becomes meaningful when we help each other." The clip spread everywhere online. Millions watched it. Some people cried, others felt inspired to become kinder in their own lives. And suddenly, something unexpected happened. People stopped admiring Keanu only as an actor. They admired him as a human being. But the greatest moment came far away from Hollywood, back in the same subway station where this story began. The homeless man from years earlier now stood wearing a clean suit. He had rebuilt his life, found work, recovered hope, and in his wallet, he still carried a small note. "You matter. Don't give up." Signed quietly at the bottom. Keanu, as trains roared through the station once more, The man smiled at the memory. Because sometimes, a single act of kindness can save a life, and sometimes, the richest people in the world are not the ones who keep money, but the ones who give hope away freely.